Okay, guys, we are live and welcome to the CarrGuy and SixFan show. This week is episode number 12. We've got a special guest with us tonight, which I will introduce here very, very shortly. And I just want to introduce myself as Jason. I am Old Car Auto Guy, and we focus our show basically on automotive stuff. And as we sit here tonight, I've got with me Dan Gimmel. Dan's channel is Gimme D on Cars. Dan, why don't you say hi to everybody?
Hello, how's everybody doing?
So I'm going to put Dan's link in the chat box. If you guys are not subscribed to Dan, I encourage you to go over and take a look at his channel. He's got some pretty interesting stuff going on over there. Um, so because this is Dan's first time on the show, I believe, I don't know if you've watched the segment before, have you, Dan?
I think I did a few weeks ago.
Okay, so basically the format is that we start off with some introductions. We talk a little bit about automotive news, and then we kind of scroll into some channel updates and tips and tricks, stuff like that. So why don't you tell people who are watching right now a little bit about your channel and what it is that you do on YouTube?
Okay, so my channel is obviously car centric. I do car reviews. It's kind of funny how it works out because when I started my channel, I was like, okay, I'll do car reviews of my car, maybe some of my neighbors, but it just so turns out that my neighbors have incredible cars, and the guy that lives directly behind me works at the Audi dealer, and right next to him, the lady works at the BMW dealer. So my channel is pretty much like BMW, not BMW centric, but I love BMWs and German cars. So I've done a lot of reviews on that, but I try to be well-rounded and do car news, stuff with my car. I did a review of I have a Mazda 6. I did a review of that in the style of Doug DeMuro, which is a hugely popular, YouTuber. I just released that the other day, but this is right in my wheelhouse. I like to talk cars, car news, what's going on and what's coming out soon. So I basically do car reviews and car news, similar stuff that you do too. So that's what I do.
Yeah, so basically, one of the things that got me kind of hooked on Dan's channel way back, I don't know how long ago it's been, maybe almost a year ago now,
I think so, yeah.
Is Dan had done a little bit of a review on some of the equipment that he has and that he uses on his channel.
Right.
And that video was recommended to me. I'm really not sure how. I must have been doing some searching on that sort of thing at the time.
Yeah.
And I jumped in, watched the video. I sent Dan a private message and ended up buying some of that equipment myself. And I wanted to make sure that I brought it onto screen here with me tonight. So basically, I've got the YouTube clamp, or sorry, the GoPro clamp, and I've got everything attached to it, which is my GoPro Hero 6 with the external mic adapter and external mic, and this little case that everything kind of clips onto. And thanks to Dan, I'm able to run this as well and have a great. My dog's barking because someone's coming to the door.
Well, look, you can tell that you followed my directions as well, because yours looks exactly like mine. It's funny. It's funny. I just have my camera sitting right here next to me.
So that's basically what got me on the Dan's channel, and then all of a sudden, he's doing reviews on BMWs and all this stuff, and I'm not sure most of you guys probably don't know this, but I'm not a big European supercar kind of guy. But Dan is slowly trying to convert me into some of these sexy looking BMWs he's been doing some reviews on. So
that's right.
Anyways, so that's Dan. That's how I met Dan, and that's how we kind of got on the same platform here with dealing with our equipment. But we're going to move on with the show, and I see that we've got a few people have jumped in on the chat there. We've got Uzo Lou Garage. Terry Eford from Eford Garage is here. Johnston T963 is here. Welcome to the chat. Matt MPG. Hey, Matt. Thanks for jumping in.
What's up, man?
JR Hum is here, who is my brother from out in British Columbia. Junk from work. Jim Dockrell is here. Guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. Like I said, we've got a very special guest. If you're just jumping in, Dan Gimmel from Gimme D on Cars. I've got his link in the chat box up above. So we're going to move on with the with the agenda tonight, and one of the things that we want to talk about is automotive news. And I usually have something prepared, and up until about lunchtime today, I had nothing until I saw Doug DeMiro's video on the Jeep Gladiator. And
Yes.
if you guys haven't seen that video yet, it's pretty amazing. I've never been much of a Jeep guy when it
Yeah.
comes to the JKs or the new JLs, and now with this new Gladiator platform, I think I'm hooked almost on the looks alone. I don't know about you. Um,
Um, I'm number one, I'm not a truck guy, but I think it's cool and I think the looks are right and I think it's the perfect size. I feel like F-150s and Silverados are just massive. I feel like it's a perfect size and I don't understand why they didn't do this like 20 years ago. You know, we all know how well the Wrangler sells. I mean, they're printing money with the four-door Wranglers basically. I see 100 of them in a day. So it's kind of interesting that they came out with it now, meaning they could have come out with this like so long ago and been printing even more money. But yeah, I like it. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, so I think as we kind of jump into this little segment of talking about the automotive news, there's a couple of things that Doug DeMiro touched on that I thought were really some pretty cool tricks of the Gladiator that is going to help Jeep continue to A, make money on these vehicles, but B, um, save money in the production. Obviously, everything from the back of the back door forward is the new Jeep JL,
Right. Just
with
a
the
four
exception
door.
of exactly, with the exception of a couple things. I think he mentioned the wider grille for more cooling because of the towing capacity,
Hmm.
um, and so even the rear doors are the same on the Gladiator as they are on the new JLs with that little slant down at the bottom.
Right.
So it just helps with production in the in the insurance business. When you go to repair these vehicles, you're going to be able to repair them a little bit cheaper as well. So hopefully insurance rates will be down on those as well. So Jim says, I guess I'm the odd man out. I hate Jeeps and Mopars in general. Owned a couple of
Ooh.
Mopars. And you know what? I'm almost there with you, Jim. I sell a lot of vehicles, of all brands, and we've had our Jeeps and we've had our Chrysler products that have given us some trouble in the past. But then again, I've had Toyotas that have given me trouble in the past, and so there's every brand
Hmm.
has an issue at some point in time. But if you're going for cool factor, I truly believe that the Jeep Gladiator's got it, hands
Yes,
down.
I agree.
Everything else aside, well, maybe that can be debated in time.
True.
Let's see here. We're going to move down the list to some channel updates, and this is where we kind of fill everybody in on some of the up and coming things that are going on our channels. So, Dan, do you have anything special that's going on your channel that you might want to share with everybody that they might want to tune in?
I do because I'm not gonna. I'm gonna give a little teaser. Okay, so I guess if you follow me on Instagram lately, the past couple of days, my wife and I took home a car that we were trying to get for her as her next car, and we bought it tonight. This tonight. We're going to get it on Saturday. I won't say what it is yet because you'll have to check into my channel to see it. But I'll give you one hint. It's German and it's an SUV. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know what the answer is. But I'm so in love. I mean, this day, a day when you get your own car for your family, it is a special day. So that was tonight. So that will be revealed on my channel soon. I'm driving a Kia Stinger this weekend. That's going to be coming up soon. My neighbor across the street just got a Volvo SUV that I'm going to do a review on. Lastly, my other neighbor, I just found out since the weather's been nice, he took this car out, and I saw him drive by my house the other day. I said he has a Honda S2000. I said, Matt, when
Nice.
did you get an S2000? He was like, oh, I got it in October. I just had it in the garage all winter. I was like, oh man. I was like, he lives like 100 yards from me. I'm like, when did you get an S2000? So I'm gonna be doing something with that, which I'm so excited for. That's gonna be an amazing sports car. So that's a couple things I got going on.
That's awesome, and I see we got a couple of new people in the garage. Hey, that's pretty cool. I should say that more often.
I
A
like
couple of
it.
new people in the garage here. We got Randall Deer is here. Was blind, and craft beer pours, guys. If you're a beer connoisseur and you like craft beers, craft beer Brendan over there has got an awesome channel going on, and he goes live quite frequently. And I believe it was just the other day, maybe it was just yesterday, that they announced they're having a baby, and I think it's a boy. So congratulate
Awesome.
Brandon on having having a little one to share his
Cool.
beers with.
Congrats.
So on my channel, as you guys know, I sent my heads away for my old Chrysler, and I got a phone call today to tell me that they are ready to be picked up. So tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to be heading up to St. John and finishing a video I started about 2 weeks ago when I dropped them off. So hopefully get that ready for you guys by the weekend and pick those J heads up. Also, um, we have a couple of things going on at the shop to do with my dad's old 36 Dodge. That thing has been apart in the back garage now for about 6 weeks or so, with the rear gears torn out of it. So the rear gears are in, and we're going to start doing some video on that. So you're going to want to stay tuned for the 36 Dodge project content coming up again really soon.
Cool.
For those of you who do follow my channel, know that on occasion I do a distance to empty, or 0 miles or 0 kilometers to empty. And Dan is where I got that idea from. Right after I did the checking up on the equipment that he's using, I followed up with him on another video that he took his Mazda 6 and did a distance to empty challenge, kind of, and see how far it would go.
Yep.
And I believe it was somewhere in the 33 or 36 mile range, maybe somewhere
Yeah,
around there.
it was 38, I think.
Yeah, so I picked up on that, and I started doing one of those once in a while. So that's where I got that idea, and I thought that was absolutely great that he was able to do that. And I kind of take it one step further, turn it into a little contest with some of my followers. So I'll post it
Yeah.
on Instagram and make sure that those guys have an opportunity to guess and do all that stuff.
Yeah, that was
So
a fun one.
yeah, and you got to make sure you have that gallon jug of gas in the back seat too. So
Yep. Yep.
moving on through the list of things tonight, we've also got a channel struggles and growth hacks. So this is a part of the segment of the show where we talk about something that we've been struggling with, and we ask for your help, maybe, or something that we have a tip or a trick that may help you get a little bit further in the YouTube realm. So my tip for tonight basically is going to be something very simple that I see a lot of guys forgetting to do, and sometimes I'm guilty of it as well. It's lighting. When you're filming, you want to make sure that the subject of whatever you're filming, whether it be your own face or whatever you're doing, has plenty of light. So always make sure that you're facing the light. Make sure there's light in front of you, and in some cases you even want it behind you, depending on what you're doing. But if you're the subject and you're holding that camera up so that it's pointing directly at you, make sure that you've got a source behind the camera lighting you up. If you watch my videos, you know that anytime I'm outside, I do my very best to try and make sure that I'm facing the sun to help light what I'm talking about. So obviously it'd be me, and if it's something else, when I'm working in the garage, I try and make sure that everything's got good enough light. So make sure you guys are lighting things up and making sure that you're doing that. Dan, do you have anything that you want to share that's something you've run across in the past?
Well, I guess something that has sort of helped me. I guess it's not more technical. It's more. I guess you could apply this to life too. But when I center my channel around car reviews, so that generally means that you would need to get access or permission from somebody to have to drive your car. So my tip would be that it can't hurt to ask. Okay, I asked a Lexus TO that was up here in Mechanicsburg. I asked politely. I said, hey, would you guys be interested in me doing some reviews of your cars? And they said no. So I said, okay, thank you. Maybe we'll try again in the future. Just tonight, when I went to we'll call it the dealer, I won't say which one. My neighbor's the one who works there, and he drives home in a new car every day from the lot. Just, it's a perk of his job. And I said, hey, that's a nice blank that you're driving right there. I said, could I do a review of that sometime? He said, sure. So my tip is to ask and put yourself out there and just try to, you know, it can't hurt to ask. If you never ask, there it'll be a no. So that's happened to me and worked out and got me numerous reviews. So it can't hurt to try, ask.
Yeah, and that's we've talked about that in the past about doing things where you want to make sure you're putting yourself out there
Yeah.
and making sure that you're able to. Um, that's the only way you're going to grow your channels. If you keep asking questions, the answers are going to get answered. It might not be the answer you want,
Yeah.
but you don't know unless you ask. So right now we are just going to come back, and I just realized this whole time that I've had the mouse clicked on your face on Google Hangouts, and therefore your face this whole time has been showing up on the live stream instead of mine, instead of it going back and forth when we talk. So anyway,
Okay.
this has been the Dan Gimmel Show tonight.
Okay. Hey. That's funny.
We do have a few new faces in the chat. We've got Classic Ride Society has jumped in here, as well as Impact Garage and Gaming, and Big Boy Bushcraft. Thanks, guys, for jumping in here. And I see that I had a question asked of Jim Dockrell, who says, how was your niece's car? So a few videos ago, we had an issue where my niece's car basically wouldn't start. And what had happened was the timing belt tensioner had failed. And we put a new one in it and set the timing, and everything was golden. So there are some special tools you need for those engines on those Fords to set the timing, which we were managed to fabricate our own. But those engines, luckily for us, and we didn't find out till after, are what they classify as non-interference, which means if your timing belt goes, you're not going to pile the engine up. So we did replace the belt, we replaced the tensioner, put everything back together, set the timing, and she started right up, no issues at all. So everything was good to go on that aspect. So if you're driving a Ford Fiesta from the time they first came back, I think back in 2010 or 11 till whenever, non-interference engines. So if you do blow your timing belt, likely you're going to be all set just by replacing the belt and resetting the timing.
Good to know.
Yes, sir. Let's see here. We are down to subscriber updates. So basically, with subscriber updates, Grant and I have we started this live stream to basically help each other get to 1,000 subscribers. And in the meantime, we've been helping other people get there as well by interacting. So with everybody that's in the chat now, most of us are all automotive guys. And we all have jumped in and shared our channels with each other and have subscribed to each other. So guys, once again, for all you new folks who are in here who haven't yet checked out Dan Gimmel's YouTube channel, I've just shared the link one more time in the chat so you guys can go over there and check his channel out. And if you like what you see, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button and give him some love, because that's what this live feed really is all about. So this is the point in the live stream where we actually will sit and talk about some of our gains or lack of gains for the week. And this week I'm sitting on right now, I think it's 1,131 subscribers, which is up from 1,113 last week. So I am still gaining a couple a day, which is great.
That's awesome.
It is, and things. I like to see things continue to grow. And even though I hit the 1,000 subscriber mark first, I still don't have my watch hours. However,
how close are you?
Is, I think by morning I'll hit 3,000.
Okay.
And Grant has hit his 4,000. And I think the last I checked just before I got on live here, he was at 980 subs. So his link is in the description box below, guys. If you haven't done it yet, go down and check out Straight Six Fan's page and subscribe to him, because he needs all that support to help get him monetized. He's like 20 subs away and certainly could use all of our help. And again, that's what this channel really is all about. So now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of jump into channel shoutouts. So other than Dan's channel, for him being a co-host this week, we usually give each of us, Dan, Grant and myself, will give a smaller channel a shout out that may not have been recognized by some of the people who are in the chat, that we can kind of go over, do somewhat of a raid, and gain him some subscriptions. This week, because Grant's not here, he has asked me to shout out a channel by the name of Dwayne Whitaker. And Dwayne is one of Grant's subscribers and has been there since almost 100 subs. So he's been a part of Grant's channel for a long time. And we will be putting a link in the description after we go off air. But this fella, Dwayne Whitaker, is restoring a 74 Nova. And of course, what's he putting in it for an engine? Everybody say it with me. An LS. So it seems to be the common thing with everybody that's going on with these GM and even some non-GM projects is
Yes.
putting LS engines in them. And I think that, I really think it's great. We talked about it on a show once upon a time, that it seems to be the most economic way of putting a drivetrain in your hot rod.
Yeah, LS swap, all the things.
Yep, for sure. So we got a few new guys that have jumped in here since we've been chatting away here. We've got Toolbox Footage. Thanks for jumping in here. Mr. Mach 1, who is here almost every week. Tiger Craps, the official EC YouTube channel. And I think Winnipeg Car Life. Shane has jumped in here all the way from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Wow.
So my shout out this week is going to go to a gentleman. His channel name is called Nick's Shop, and if you guys don't know who Nick's Shop is, again, I'll put the link in the description box after we go off air. And he is doing a small block Chev build. By the looks of things, it's an old school Chev 350. He's got about 1,200 subs, so he's right on par with what we're doing right now, or pretty close, and could use some extra help as well. So go over to his channel, make sure you subscribe. And even after we go back off air, if you didn't catch everybody's channel during the live feed, you can always go back and watch it again, and click on those names in the chat box and check out their channel. So at this point, we are going to open up the chat for a few questions for either myself or Dan. And let's see here. I think I saw James Nesta, one of my faithful subscribers from Houston, Texas.
Cool.
Says, do you get more used car customers from outside your area due to the YouTube channel? So, James, as of right now, no. I have had one that came from a little ways away, not too far away, who basically just stopped in to say, hi, I watch your channel, and introduced himself, which I thought was actually pretty good.
That's cool.
But I think with 1,000 subscribers, I don't think that has a huge enough impact on your local community, because believe it or not, even with the subscribers that I have, I bet you there's only a handful that are really local people, and most of them are friends and family that watch my channel. So I wouldn't think until you start getting up into the thousands of subscribers would you start seeing a little bit more benefit from having a YouTube channel. So Tim Hatt, I see, has jumped in there. Now Tim Hatt is a buddy of mine. We used to travel to the NASCAR races at Loudon, New Hampshire, every fall. And Tim is local. Tim has bought a vehicle from me, Toyota Corolla, and he says that he saw me in a blue Mitsubishi in Penfield earlier. Yes, more drywall. I was helping a buddy finish up with some plumbing and stuff like that in his bathroom after I got off work tonight. So yeah, so having that YouTube channel is great exposure. In fact, when I go and pick up my heads tomorrow at St. John Engine Rebuilders, I have propositioned him with an exchange of partial payment or full payment for a commercial or sponsorship for my channel for building my engine on my car.
Cool.
And he's willing to entertain that. So I think that's a pretty good idea, where my bill is close to $700 for the work that they did and the parts that they spent. Maybe we can work out a deal, or at least a partial payment. I think that's going to be great. Any other questions that you see rolling through here? Let's see. No, I guess nobody wants to talk. They're all talking with each other.
The chat is lit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess we're getting pretty close to closing this out. Dan, is there any other final remarks that you want to say to anybody in the chat or anything?
It's funny how when you said we do like some shout outs, one that I was going to bring up was Matt MPG. Like the other, aside from all the YouTube stuff, you know, that we have a common interest, like you, Jason, and Matt, you guys seem like genuine guys, and we could just, you know, talk and bullshit about stuff. But I like Matt MPG's channel. He's very active on Facebook. He's just got a bunch of new equipment. You know, he tells you all the places he's going to be. So he's a genuinely nice guy, just like you, Jason, and he has a interesting channel too. So I want to give him a little shout out. Other than that, can't think of anything else. But yeah, I will. When this is over, I got to go check out the chat to see all the other car guys who have been in the chat, and I'll check everybody out. And thank you to everybody who supports me too. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so guys, we are getting very, very close to closing out this live stream, and next week we will be back on Straight Six Fans channel. This week almost didn't happen for me for a couple of reasons. One is we're having some really bad wind coming through from yesterday's storm, and we seem to have lost our internet here at the house. So basically what I'm using is I'm currently using my iPhone as a hotspot to do this stream, and I hope on your end it's coming out okay and not all choppy and jittery and all that stuff. So so thank you for being patient if the live stream isn't coming across as it normally would. But having said all that, Dan, thank you so much for taking the time out of your night. I know that your schedule is somewhat busy with family life at this time of the evening, and I know I've reached out a couple of times to see if you'd be willing to get in, and I'm really glad that you did. And I want to thank you for taking that time and being a part of the show.
Yes, I thank you too for inviting me, and thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So hopefully we can have Dan back again some other time, and make sure that you guys, if you haven't done so already, go over, check out his channel. If you like what you see, support him. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so that you get notified when he uploads. He's generally uploading at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, sometimes more, depending on how much fun he's having. So make sure that you're over there and showing the love. There's some other guys, new guys who have just jumped in here. X Written in Blood, who is a great channel for networking. If you guys aren't tuned into Written in Blood, check him out, because there's a lot of networking that goes on with a lot of other channels for growth on his feed. So guys, cool. This is where we're going to end this video live stream. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you so much for chatting with us and taking your time out of your day to be a part of the CarrGuy SixFan show. Again, next week it's on Grant's channel, and he will be back. So thanks again, guys. I end every video by saying this: stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. I love you guys. Let's do it again next week.